Is this Brittny Nation, co-producer of the Meet the Brave podcast? Is this who I have on the phone today?
This is who you have on the phone right now, Seth.
Are
How
you?
are you?
Are you still are you still working in the field? That kind of threw me off. I didn't know what was happening. I didn't know if I was supposed to come rescue you. Were we supposed to run away together, or that's just the look you was going for? I felt the way. My nigga moved to the south and is all on the plantation. This is crazy.
What blew my mind is she light skinned.
She's supposed to be in the house. I was like, now I'm really confused.
You know I'm a house nigga.
So
I was inside making massive dinner.
So I'm gonna allow you to be surprised by our conversation that led us to this point, and pray that you don't kill us for it. I know you're gonna have strong opinions, but we're just gonna skip all that and not even go backwards. We love you. We miss you. We're proud of you. Happy Sunday / Monday, because that's what we do. First of all, congrats on an epic season 2.
Thank you.
Conversations with Nation. A couple questions.
Okay.
What did you discover? The differences between season 1, season 2. How are you feeling going forward, and how are you feeling going forward, and then lastly your plans and like goals, right? Like, are you setting your goals even higher based on what you accomplished season 2, or are you scaling them back? Like, what discovery was made for you?
Okay, so that first part, honestly, the second season I'm really proud of it because I went into it pretty nervous of like, I think it's the same way people think about like their sophomore album. Like, people talk about like the sophomore slump, where somebody will like come out with a fire ass like first album, and that second one be like, And so that was like one of my biggest, I guess, fears would be the right word, or concerns going in. Like, damn, like this second season can't be trash. But it was, I think one of the things I learned was just, that was a season that I feel like I tried the most stuff out. And given there's only 2, but I was trying out video. I was trying out the like every other with Sita. I was trying out a lot of things to kind of figure out what worked. So it's a season full of like me being willing to kind of take chances and try some things out, which for my personality is a little difficult because I'm a very like perfectionist and I want things to be right and perfect, and it felt sometimes a little bit everywhere, but the reality was there was no other way to figure it out.
You was out there acting like Monty. That's crazy. This life ain't for everybody, fam. It's good.
We're gonna have a little bit of everything and just see what sticks.
Right.
And I think from that I just really learned kind of like, I think it's a season of me kind of figuring out what my niche is and what I want my audience to be, because I think I was trying to kind of scale an audience that was too large and losing some of the like the potency conversation that I wanted to have. And so it was kind of like, it was just it was a lot of trial. But I also thought like, every season I do want to do something different and something better. So first season was all audio only. Second season I included video. I did the promo video to start it. I was trying out some different things. So it was always to try to elevate it. My third season, my plans for it is yet another like addition and elevation to it, which I haven't fully worked out yet. I've been toying with the idea, as you know, about the magazine, and merging that with the pod, but I'm kind of still working out like what that is exactly. And it's something that I've like never seen before.
Right.
So it's hard to land on the vision around it, and it keeps changing as I kind of get clearer and clearer on what it is that I want to do. In my mind, it'll take me a little bit longer to get to season 3 because of the changes that I want to make. There's a lot of stuff I'm going to have to try to figure out in between. And I'm happy to be with this group that I'm with out here to have access to some more resources to kind of begin trying some things out with incorporating like fashion and photography and art within the pod. So just kind of trying to figure that out right now, but it's always just trying to get a little bit more clarity on like what's next and honing it in, and then also getting the process around money and trying to figure out what that looks like. Is this going to be going behind a paywall at some point?
Right.
Or some part of it going behind a paywall, and kind of just trying to figure that out, because the more I begin to scale, the more expensive it becomes.
Right.
And so then you go like, well, I can't
just get us away.
Yeah.
I can't just get us to y'all. I think that's initially when I caught on to the show, what impressed me the most was how specific it was, and understanding, like, I feel like this shit was made for me. You know what I'm saying? But what comes with that, right? Because I know my sensibilities and my taste, you know, it aren't the general sensibilities and taste. So how do you market that? How do you scale that? How do you go seek those people out? How do you build? And just watching the guests that you chose for season 2, I thought was really bold and really, really, really out there. What went into that decision making for your guests for season 2?
I didn't hear that last. Say that last part one more time.
What went into the decision making for your guests for season 2?
You know, I started season 2 probably with the first maybe 6 episodes worked out. As far as guests. Elle was an obvious pick from kind of already some things I was working out in season 1, and his episode really morphed. Like, I talked to him about this before when he was doing the when we were recording for the finale, and his episode was really supposed to be about anti-heroes, because I think that nigga is the epitome of an anti-hero, but it really began to kind of like morph when I got to understand, like, I once we got to it, I was like, oh, I see what he come here to. So I'm gonna just happen, because I think that there has to be some like fluidity in kind of like what story you want to tell, because you could have an idea, you can get in there, and then you can start the conversation, and you have to be smart and kind of figure out when to let it go in different directions, when to hop in and steer. And I think it's the 2 biggest things I've learned in podcasting is that you will have the greatest conversations by asking the right questions, but also knowing when to shut up. And those 2 things really give you the wonderful conversation, because you have to learn how to like navigate a conversation appropriately.
Right.
And then everybody, like a lot of the other people, were just like really dope human beings that were like super important to the narrative of kind of like what's going on in the culture. So my friend Brittny, who's a nurse, like, that's really important to be talking about right now when we're thinking about Black people in the medical industry, and just how we're treated, Black women specifically too, and like how we're very disregarded, and all of those things that are like important for us to start knowledgeable about and know about. And it's important to me that like we are contributing something like to the culture. And that's kind of like, I don't know if y'all talked about that one question I put in there today, but just I'm really having to recognize that my focus and what I'm deeming to be successful is something where I get to actually change something. And so it's important that the conversations I have are doing that, but then you also have to balance that with like trying to draw the culture in to be willing to have the conversation. And so it's an interesting dynamic. And then the last one I'm talking about was the my friend that was Latina, and I thought it was really interesting because I definitely know that of my audience, like I definitely have a lot of women and a lot of Latino women, And so I definitely wanted to make sure I had something that was serving to them, and then also bridge that gap too of understanding that there is a commonality between us as women, as women and other women of color, but also acknowledging like this is a different experience.
Right.
But also there's some things that are very similar for both of us operating in a system that is patriarchal. So yeah, I'm just trying to like find different angles to have conversations about the things that I think are really important and really help open up thoughts and conversation around like the world we exist in, and how do we kind of navigate that.
I'm. It's so crazy. We met. We did the collab show, and then it was just like it was circulating in my brain. It was like how I become her friend for real, and then how do we steal her and have her be a part in some capacity. And similar to when I met Jonel, I was like, this gonna be my friend for real. Like, I don't know what it's gonna look like, but it's gonna be my partner. And it morphed, and then you and we met, and then I talked to Elle and Lex first about you being a part in some capacity, but then you were for it, and you know we've hinted to it and kind of told people, but Morg made a point. He's like, yo, it's clearly obvious that Brittny's having an influence on the topics because they just have way more body now and depth. How has it been for you offering insight? And then even in the beginning, right? It's a show with 3 niggas on it that you know have cock perspective. You know, even if the points are good, sometimes it's like, nigga, for real, like you had to say it that way. You know, but you've been supportive since day one. But then being a part of it, what did you want to add? If anything, how did you want to show up being a co-producer now and adding to Meet the Brave?
I mean, I think y'all give me a bigger playground to play on. Like it's I think it was Lex that might have said this. It was either Lex or Elle. It was one of those two sickos. I love y'all. But it was this understanding of like when you are around people who have experienced a lot in life, they have this significantly larger range of like what is and isn't acceptable, because a lot of people that are overly politically correct haven't really experienced much.
Wow.
But when you have people who have really done some shit and been in some shit and lived life, the field of what is okay and not okay to talk about is significantly wider. And so for me, as I think as a woman, you often kind of get boxed in really tight. And so to come here with y'all minds, I'm like, oh, this playground is hella open. Like, what? I'm about to play hella Foursquare. About to hoop a little bit. About to get on the gym rings. Like, and I'm able to kind of like play around a lot more and not overly, not always have to worry about offending people, because I look around and go like, I know if I'm offending you, these niggas have offended you 6 or 7 times. So that was really dope. But it's also one of the things I really love about y'all, and I think I said this in my last episode at the end of the finale when I was like talking about how much I love y'all, but I appreciated that I got to walk into this space as an intellectual and a creative, and that's what it was. Like, it wasn't, oh, like, it's a value, like, oh, there's now, like, a woman here, but it wasn't, like, y'all never made me feel like, okay, well, there's a girl added on. It was like, no, there's another intellectual human being that's a creative that's going to be added to the team, that has another experience and perspective that's going to be valid to offer here. And I've had other people ask to collab. I've had, let me not say names. I was going to be like, I had a couple of niggas from them little all-deaf digital people actually hit me up before. And but since you over there posting niggas from there.
Oh, damn. All deaf, y'all ruining it.
Oh, man. You might have moved the ball.
But no, it was, it was very much like, oh, this is a cute girl who's doing some stuff. And that was really frustrating to interact with. And then also be like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. I don't need that. But to be in a space with people who didn't look at it that way. Like, I'm a woman, of course, but it was like, yeah, we need that perspective from an intellectual creative that also has that viewpoint and vantage point. So it's been dope. I'm excited. I'm excited to help build. I also, a lot of people, I guess, probably don't know this, but like, I want to be a producer,
right.
Like kind of the angle I want to take. And I prefer to be more behind the scenes, like having my own show and like having to be the forefront of it is not overly exciting to me. I'm excited to like organize shit. I'm excited to find data. I'm excited to put questions in. I have no problem getting on the camera, but it's like the behind the scenes is more important to me. I always tell people like, I want to be like the Patrick Cloud. Like I could be on there and hold my own, but like I love the behind the scenes significantly more than I love the being in front.
Shout out! It's okay to shout out Pat Cloud then, right? Because that's really my dog. Like I really am a big ass fan of Pat Cloud. Can I say that? Hello.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Okay, no, that was it. We love you, B. Before you go. Do one of your topics that you sent because we've literally only gotten to a handful on the overall list. So do one of yours while we got you.
Okay. Let me see. Not the communication. Well, we can do that one. The communication. Actually, no. What was the crap? What was the second one I had said?
Your second one, the communication is the second. You got Tiana's farewell tour. You got the poor communicators talking about being misunderstood, and then you have the line between unwavering belief and being delusional.
That one, yeah. I've been working a lot on when I talk about. I talked about like I want to get out of my 9 to 5 and what that'll entail, but also like what that'll have to entail financially.
Right.
And I think that is something I've been really like paying attention to and researching more and paying a lot of attention and trying to change some thoughts and habits and beliefs around. And I was noticing that like with conversations I was having, with things I was learning, I was like, there are a lot of people who I feel sometimes I go like, are they a little delusional?
Right.
Which sounds kind of fucked up, but I go because there are actual practices that people have to do to the place that they want to get to, but they just kind of like have this expectation to get there without the part. Like, you can't expect to have, I think there's a lot of people who are like, if you can't manage $60K a year, you definitely can't manage $6 million a year. It's not possible.
Come on.
Like, it's literally not possible. So to me, I'm like, if you don't have the self-discipline and the financial literacy, small things, you don't have the financial literacy or the self-discipline, the big. People always say,
but I'm going to hire somebody to do it. What you mean? What you mean? I'm going to have an accountant, you dummy. That's so crazy.
And he going to steal it all.
And he going to take every penny.
And not listen to nothing of it.
Right.
But it's also just like, it's asking for things that you don't have the system set up to actually do.
Ooh, talk about it.
And that's like, how much more embarrassing is it to be broke making $60K versus I got $6 million and I'm still broke? Like, man, don't ask for the blessings that you are not actually capable of like living out. And I think that, and I say that as not as judgment on anybody else, but like as I'm learning certain things, and I was joking around the other time, like trying to get through Target and like get out with the one or two things I went in for while trying to be on a budget. It's like being smarter and the things I'm learning, I'm going like, damn, Britt, like you can't ask for a certain lifestyle and have no idea how to manage it. Yep. And so you need to start figuring out how to manage this lifestyle you're trying to call in.
Wow.
And not just be out here wilding, because it's not just happen. and I'm going to magically become smarter, know how to deal with this much money or influence or whatever. And which also ties into that second one where I was just like, I was actually binging the Shop, the last 2 seasons of the Shop the other night. Got really high and was like, I want to eat and watch the Shop. And I was like, one of the things I've been looking at is like all these people that around me that are so successful, and there's something about it that just like wasn't resonating, and I couldn't figure out what it was. And I was realizing like a lot of people will make you like cool or popular or see you as cool or popular because you're financially successful. But I was realizing like I don't resonate with that because I don't really care about money. Like I don't really care about it. It's like I know that like I think there's a difference between looking at financial success as a end goal versus looking at it as a tool that you need in your bag to chip at these other things you're trying to do.
Right.
And that's where I'm at. And I don't have an issue with either one. Like, let me be very clear. Like, if you are looking for financial success, go do it. Especially if you're Black, like, I love to have more representation. I love to have people not worrying about their families and all this other stuff. Go. If that's your route, that's your route. But I was understanding that for my vision of what I want to do, this wasn't resonating with me, but it also is something I know I kind of need to do to get to, but couldn't place it. And then it just clicked me. And I think it was the episode with Jay-Z, I want to say was on there, but I don't know. It was one of them because I watched like 7 of them things in one night. But it was like, oh, I don't care about this. I care about changing the culture. And so that means that this has to be part of it, though. That's a tool I need to, but then I need to know how to use the tool, which goes back to the understanding of like financial. Like I know I need this fucking power saw to build this house. Okay, but like, bitch, do you know how to use a power saw? So why the fuck you asking for a power saw? Is your fucking hand off? Like, oh, I guess I gotta go like learn how to do that. And so those are just things I have been like thinking about and sitting with this week that I was like, okay, like let's talk about this.
Wow, Bree. OG said a couple weeks ago actually, it's like you want to know about where somebody is headed. Take a look at their crew. You know what I'm saying? Like you can get a lot of information about somebody, about who they didn't align themselves with, and the monologue you just went on, my nigga, is exactly why I fuck with you. So we gonna try to get Hollywood, not LAL, but Hollywood L on the phone. We're gonna try, but that nigga probably getting his free forms done right now. So we don't know, but we wanted to talk to the crew.
That nigga get his free forms done by a bad bitch with 6-inch nails,
right. We love you. We're excited about the future and everything that is coming. Thank you for your contributions to the show and the up-leveling and the scaling of MTB, fam.
I love y'all too. Y'all have a beautiful show.
Right on, B.
Who's that?
That's Jonel, yeah.
Oh, that sounds like Jonel. Hi, Jonel.
Hey, what up, B?
All right, B.
Wonderful person.
What's happening after?
You the queen, B?
Is that Lex?
Yeah.
I love you.
I love you too.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, B.
Peace.